Nikki Haley was on the Today Show, and Lauer played the soundbite from her where she talked about the country needs to be more inclusive. Again, she was talking about the Republicans. Again, this was a rebuttal to the State of the Union, and there was a big chunk of it devoted to what the Republican Party, I guess, again, kind of veiled references to Trump and Cruz on the issue of immigration. Now, let's go to the 10th soundbite, Mike, so we can hear this. Let's go.
When you were talking about those loudest voices, those angriest voices, in that context, you were referring to Donald Trump, correct?
He was one of them, yes. He was one. There's other people in the media. There's people in my state. I think we're seeing it across the country. But yes, Mr. Trump has definitely contributed to what I think is just irresponsible talk.
I've never, in my life, I have never, ever heard a Republican rebuttal to the State of the Union speech devoted in large part to trying to stop the momentum of a Republican running for office. I just have never heard that. I've heard that in other speeches, in other context forums. That's fine. But I've never heard it in something that's supposed to rebut Obama, because in that, Bret, she was agreeing with Obama.
Yeah, no, you're right, and we're in a different place now, and I think the establishment or tied to the GOP, the party itself, is in full nervous mode about what they're seeing on the campaign trail and the reality that Donald Trump or Ted Cruz could be the nominee. And it's sinking in. So I think they're using every platform that they can to get the message out that they don't fully agree with how it's being presented or what's being talked about. I think you're right. It's very interesting to use the Republican response to President Obama, who spent an hour in part lambasting Republicans to pile on that particular element. But she and others feel pretty strongly about that.
Have you ever heard a Democrat response to a Republican State of the Union focus on what's wrong in the Democrat Party, the ancillary loud voices in the far left of the Democrat Party, and how they need to just be more responsible? I just never hear the Democrats eating their own when the Democrats are on the ropes. I always see the Democrats banding together, or at least try to appeal to all the voices in their party or compromise with them. I just don't hear that same condemnation of Democrat voices, neither from Hillary nor from Sanders.
No, you're right, and I don't think I can remember one. And I think in formal speeches, you're right. I mean, they kind of hold the line as a party. They do have problems now. I mean, when you have Chelsea Clinton out on the trail attacking Bernie Sanders, you know that the Clinton campaign is in full, worry mode about Iowa and New Hampshire.
Well, and also, speaking of Chelsea, when she was out there yesterday, she said something, and even the Democrats today on the other networks were saying it's sad to see that, because Chelsea's actually saying something that's not true. Basically, that Bernie Sanders wants people to lose their health care. No, he doesn't. He wants a national health care system, always has. But he wants everyone to be covered, but he wants it just to be a simple national health care plan that goes back to the states. So the states administer it. But the system is a national coverage system. It's just, in a way, it's kind of, it's not what I want. Obviously, I want a free market approach where people can pick plans across state lines. But what Bernie wants is just more of a national healthcare system, but administered by the various states in the ways that they see fit.
Yeah, like a single payer.
Yeah.
But it's, one of the other things Chelsea said, not to overanalyze her time on the trail, but she said, her mother attempted and failed to try to do health care in the early Clinton years, and she said, just remember, health care and how it's implemented you wouldn't think it would be more unpopular than it is now, but it was. And it was just an odd formulation saying that Obamacare is so unpopular, and but Hillary care was equally or worse.
Bret, before we let you go, I know you're busy getting ready for the show. In thinking about, I was really taken aback by what I heard last night on the Republican side. I expected Obama to do what Obama did. I mean, that's not surprising, really. But again, how can you envision Humpty Dumpty being put back together again. Meaning the Republican Party. If
You
in
mean
fact,
the Republican Party?
right? If in fact Trump does pretty well in these early states, and right now he's up 20 points in South Carolina. I think 20 points against number 2 challenger. Nikki Haley's governor of South Carolina. Now Lindsey Graham's the senator of South Carolina. She basically just took him to town at this rebuttal. He doesn't forget things. He doesn't forget, and apparently the establishment's just not going to compromise on any of these issues. So that's kind of is it politically incorrect to say a Mexican standoff? I don't know. People used to say that, but it's a standoff. Does this get bridged somehow?
I mean, it's a standoff. I mean, I think if Donald Trump or Ted Cruz is the nominee, I'm not sure that Nikki Haley will be the VP. I do think that she's an up-and-comer. And you have to take aside for a second that it was the Republican response to the State of the Union and just look at the message. I mean, the message was, as a party, we need to talk about things and not yell about them. We need to understand the anger, but not fuel it and prop it up for political purposes. Understanding, she led with, I hear you. I'm angry too.
Oh, that was good.
But got to this, we have to talk about it in a way that doesn't alienate people. And that message, you could take it as a pointed jab at Trump and Cruz, or you could take it as, and she did say that today on the Today Show, or you could take it as that's a roadmap for Republicans to at least run a general election and win.
That's a nice way to end it with Bret Baier. Hey, Brett, it's always great talking to you. Congratulations again on